Well, this has been a very sad week for East Africa community because we've lost a dear friend and a wonderful president by the name Dr. John Pombe Magufuli. Although a COVID critic who never believed that COVID was real, there is a lot of things that we can be able to pick from his life. This is John Kimani presenting what we call the leader we need today. And this segment actually examines some of the traits and actually indispensable traits that we should be looking for when we are selecting leaders. And last week we talked about Jesus Christ and the four traits that he presents unto us and makes him the kind of leader that we would want. And we actually appreciate the most of you and who has followed us and are liking and commenting about our message. Now, today, let's talk a little bit about John Pombe Magufuli, the fallen leader of Tanzania. Now, life is very short, and that's one of the quick lessons that we pick from his life. And already Samia Suluhu is already installed or has already taken oath to be the first female East Africa president in this nation. Now, Magufuli was liked and hated by many people, and one Twitter handle actually says, "I wish all our leaders would take notes on the type of leadership Magufuli style." In other words, the Twitter is simply saying, "I wish people would follow the Magufuli style of leadership, which is called Magurification." Now, this leader who came to the limelight in 2015 when he was became the first timer president. And it's shocking that he became the first timer president in an unexpected way. Actually, the chances did not belong to him. It was Lowassa who was supposed to take over Chama cha Mapinduzi presidential candidate. But because, of course, Lowassa got himself in a corruption scandal, he had to resign, giving way to Magufuli. Now, let's examine the 7 C's that make Magufuli a very special president, because he is. And we wish that the Kenyan and the Africa at large will be able to follow Magufuli's style of leadership. Number 1, Magufuli was clean. The doctrine of Magurification is about becoming clean, is about becoming, running away from corruption. In fact, Magufuli was clean when he was the deputy minister in charge of roads and transport. As such a lucrative portfolio, he not only engaged him in a ambitious road project, but again, his track record was clean. He was not engaged in corruption deals. There was no scandal. And no wonder when he contested under the Chama cha Mapinduzi presidential candidate, he sailed through because he was clean. He did not engage himself in corruption kind of things. And we can say Magufuli actually was so much committed into cleanness that he fired corrupt officials. He talked against corruption. He fought against corruption, and in his death, he has fought corruption. He is one guy who was so serious about corruption. Maybe because of his Christian values. And that is the second thing that we talk about him. The second C is that he was a Christian. He was a Christian. Not only did we see him attending church, not only did we hear talking well about Christianity, but again he practiced Christianity. You know, the way he fought COVID-19, much as it attracted controversy, is that he said, "Let us pray to God that he is going to take away this COVID-19. And it just shows how strong he was connected to Christ, how strong he was connected with God, how strong he was convinced that a Christian lifestyle is the way and Christ is the solution against life pandemics like COVID-19. So the second C that we talk about that shows that the doctrine of Magufuli is the way to go, or Magurification is the way to go, is because John Pombe Magufuli, the late president of Tanzania, was a Christian, and he practiced Christianity, and everybody knew that Magufuli was a Christian, and by the virtue that was picked from the mainland, which should have been a Christian, he really lived to honor Christ. Number 3, he was committed. It is said that Magufuli, right from his childhood, was never late for school. In fact, it is said that John Pombe Magufuli was so committed in his work that in no single time was he ever punished because of lateness. Very, very much interesting. And again, it is also said that Magufuli, during his chemistry time, because he is a chemistry teacher, he actually went to university to study chemistry, is that there are so many times that he would miss lunch. He would skip lunch because he had locked himself in a laboratory trying out experiment. Magufuli was somebody who was totally sold out to his task. He was totally given out. He had given himself fully for the task ahead of him. In fact, we define commitment as the ability to complete task well or better. If you look at the road infrastructure, if you look at Tanzania before Magufuli and Tanzania that Magufuli has left, you see that the Tanzania that Magufuli has left is far much better than the Tanzania that he found. And this shows somebody who is committed. It is uncommon for roads, for huge projects like roads, to be completed. But with Magufuli, roads were completed, projects were completed, infrastructure was completed in his time. And given his time, were he to complete his term, we are very sure that he would have completed this project, because he was one guy who was completely sold out to his business. Number 1, he was clean. Number 2, he was a Christian. Number 3, he was committed. The doctrine of Magurification. Number 4, he was a guy of conviction. His conviction was corruption is not the way. His conviction was it is possible to fund government project without borrowing. His conviction was COVID is not real. COVID is just something that has been invented to scare us. COVID is not real. Those were his conviction. And the beauty of it is that he was not afraid of speaking them out. His conviction is that public wastage is not a good thing for country. His conviction was it is possible to raise domestic fund and be able to support economy. His conviction was it's good to build infrastructure. Those were his conviction, and he stood by them. He was not afraid of sharing them, and this makes Magufuli a special leader that Africans actually need to emulate in their own lives. Okay, it is very important for us to be able to say that. The other thing that we also want to say about Magufuli is that number 1, he was clean. He's somebody who did not like corruption. Number 2, he was somebody who was a Christian. He practiced Christianity. He talked Christianity. Christianity was a lifestyle for him. He was not a Sunday Christian, but he was a Christian even in his politics. Number 3, we said he was a man who was committed. And number 4, we said he was a man of conviction. But the other thing that we need to see is that he was cooperative. He was somebody who loved working with people. And one of the things that makes us say so is because he picked a woman to be his running mate as the vice president, now the current president of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu. And the fact that he believed in women, the fact that he was able to pick a woman as his running mate, as his deputy, as his principal assistant, paints John Pombe Magufuli as somebody who is cooperative, who who can get along on anybody. And the fact that he picked on a Muslim woman who was not actually vocal, who is soft spoken, who is diplomatic, who is a hard worker, actually confirms that John Pombe Magufuli is a good leader and somebody who believes in working with people. And actually, no wonder the common people loved him, because he was cooperative. He went down to their level. He went down to wherever they are. He was actually accessible to them. Character traits of cooperative people. And then the other thing, I think that is number 5. He was cost effective manager. If you look at him, one of the things that he did upon assuming presidency is that he cut his salary 4 times, becoming the lowest paid president, I think, in Africa. He did not believe in money. He believed in sacrificing. And no wonder, the other thing that we see about John Pombe Magufuli is that actually he discouraged the public officials from traveling abroad. Actually, in his presidency, up to his death, he had only had 10 or even less than 10 international trips. And shocking enough is that all of them were in Africa. When he was invited to go abroad, one of the things he would ask maybe the ambassador in that country to represent him. Is one day actually in Kenya when he went, I don't know whether it was in Kenya or whether it was in Rwanda, where he just went, I think he's in East Africa meeting, where he went and made the opening remarks and then left his VP to continue with the meeting. He's somebody he did not like traveling. Well, the critics say the reason why he was not traveling is because he had a heart problem and he had a pacer, and the medical doctor, his personal doctor, had discouraged him from taking long flights. Okay, well, that's it. But again, he looked like somebody who did not love a lot of cost. He loved being simple. He did not want to have public wastages. Dr. Karanja, I can see you. He is somebody who loved, and Paula Budhia, I can see you. He is somebody who did not love wastages. He loved doing things simple. He loved putting cost of running the government down. He was not a heavy spender. He was somebody who believed in plowing back the tax into the people so that he can improve his money. And that is testified, that is proved by 2 songs that have been done in honor of him. One is by Harmonize. The other one is by AIC Changombe, who have sung to honor him and to respect him, because he was somebody who did not believe in wasting money. He believed in investing money. He believed that the money that was gathered, the tax money, is supposed to go out there and invest. So the doctrine of magnification simply says, become cost effective. No wonder he fired public servants who did not report for duty. No wonder he did a payroll cleaning where he chased away 10,000 ghost workers and saved the country around $2 million. Think about that. Somebody who minded putting the wage bill of the government at minimum, so that he can be able to fund government projects, so that Wanjiku can be able to benefit. And then I think number 7 that makes Magufuli a unique president, according to the doctrine of magnification, is that he was confident. He believed and he talked it that Tanzania will become a different nation. No wonder, because of his confidence, there was a hashtag that was coined after him. What would Magufuli do? What would Magufuli do? Magufuli would get into an office, he would pay impromptu visit into a public office, find some empty seats, and fire those officers right there and then. No nonsense, man. He was so confident about himself that he would go into a market, there is a video that is doing around. He went into a certain market, and the people complained that there is no rattling, and he called for the personnel, and he gave them 7 days to be able to do that. He was so confident about it. No wonder he went against the politics and the tone of Tanzanian politics, which is calm. You know, Tanzanians are very calm. Even when they want to arrest you, there is a joke that goes around that when a policeman wants to arrest you, they would ask you, "Ndugu, naomba nikushike." Contrary to what happens in our country. You know, but for him, he was abrasive. He was somebody who was impromptu. He questioned people. He was a go-getter, if you like it. And no wonder they call him Tinga Tinga, or a bulldozer kind of a president. Because while he was the deputy minister in charge of road and transport, he embarked on an ambitious project to complete the roads there. The doctrine of magnification, the 7 C's. I think we need such kind of leaders today. We need those kind of leaders who are competent, who are clean, who are committed, who live by their convictions, who are cost effective, who are confident. We really need those kind of leaders in today. Those are the kind of leaders we need today. And whether you are a church minister, whether you are in business, whether you are in politics, then the doctrine of Magufurification is the way to go. And though Magufuli is dead, though he may never talk to us again, though we may never see him in market firing people, though we may never see him dancing, though we may never see him calling our president and give him a turkey as a gift, he has left very important leadership lesson, the Magufurification doctrine of leadership. Magufurification style of leadership is the way to go. And we need to challenge ourselves. And we need to tell ourselves that we need, number one, we need to be clean. We need to be committed. We need to be Christian. We need to be men and women of conviction. We need to be men and women who are cost effective, who doesn't do things to benefit ourselves, but we need to put cost down so that common person is benefits, and then we need to be confident. These are the C's that guided Magufurification doctrine. Now, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. In a country full of corruption, in a country full of deep state, in a country where people are not ready to change, it is possible, because Magufuli did it. And I believe while he is in his grave, he is telling us we need to do it. We can do it. Faith Wanjiro, thank you. Thank you for coming. I've seen you together with Dr. Julie. It is possible. And we need to subscribe to the doctrine of Magufurification, because that is the way to go. We must go Magufuli way, because it is a better way. Magufuli during his tenure was able to change the narrative of Tanzania. Tanzanians are better. And the question that maybe we are asking tonight is this: will Samia Suluhu, the new president, be able to fit in and carry on with what Magufuli did? Is it going to be continuity for her, or is it going to be discontinuity for her? And what we are saying is this, to be fair, Magufuli is not a goddess. Of course, being a human being, there are things that he made, there are some decisions that he made that are wrong. There are things that he did that actually we may not accept. But all said and done, there are some good things that he did that each and every African leader, whether you're in politics, whether you're in church, whether you're in business, wherever it is that you are, we can subscribe to the doctrine of Magufurification, and we need to do it today. Now, this as the leaders that we need today. My name is John Kimani. We encourage you to keep on sharing. We encourage you to keep giving your comments. Please create watch parties. Share this message to your friends and keep commenting. And if you have a personal question in which you would want to ask us, please share this in the number that we are putting here, so that we can be able to communicate with you. Please feel free to share this with us. Oops. Let's put this number there. It is 0722 155 556. Feel free to share with us that number, and we'll be able to share this with you. And we just want to thank a few people who have come online. This is Paul Bodia, Dr. Jury there, and who else? And Faith 10. We really thank all of you. And until next week, when we'll have a series on the leaders that we need today, my name is John Kimani. Remember what you always say here in Inawezekana. Please make sure that you connect with us by SMSing or by calling that number 0722 155 556. And if you are outside Kenya, please remember to put the number +254 722 15 50 55 56. Please, let's get the conversation going. Until next week, shalom. Inawezekana.